am very excited. The Premier League is back from international break this weekend, and with the results that Canada got against Jamaica, I'm happy to just put that behind me and watch my favorite team, which is Newcastle, up the tune. As Joe Willock would say, come on, you Maggies. I'm recording this before yesterday's game, so hopefully when this comes out, I'm just basking in the afterglow of a win against Chelsea. But yeah, soccer jerseys, football jerseys, they're maybe my favorite kind of jersey, just because there's so much you can do with them, especially third kits. You can get pretty creative. So in today's video, I'm going to ramble on about my 5 favorite jerseys from this season in the Premier League. And I promise one of them is very controversial. You might already have an idea of which jersey that is. But let me know in the comments who you think is going to win the Premier League this year, and also who you wish it was. I should mention that this list does not include any keeper uniforms or keeper shirts. That could be its own video. There are also no home kits on my list. I didn't do that as a rule. And come on, we can all agree that the Newcastle kit, the home shirt, is beautiful this year. But I think generally home jerseys just don't stand out as much. They're more repetitive, and that's what you want from your home jersey. If Newcastle came out with something other than the black and white stripes, I would revolt. So that's why no home jerseys, except one does make the honorable mentions list, but otherwise no home jerseys on this list. And we may as well get started right away with, in no particular order, Bournemouth away. This one, if I look down, I've got the picture up for reference. But this one is around the theme of making waves, and being that the stadium, I think, is just a couple kilometers away from the beach. I think it's very fitting. It's a great take on a light colored kit, for all of the plain white shirts that we have this year. This is a really nice change of pace, and I just love that they kept this two-tone. The shirt sponsor blends in really nice, and it is a bold move to have your crest sort of mix in with the shirt and keep it the same, same colorway as the shirt, rather than have it stand out. Bournemouth would have this great cherry red crest, but I think that this, having it match the shirt, is a really important touch to sort of make the shirt wearable outside of the stadium for fans. So I think it's a bold decision, and it pays off here. And I also think that the blues that they chose is just spot on. They could have gone with the darker shorts, kind of matching the accents on the jersey. That would have been really nice too. But again, if we're aiming for a light kit overall, this shirt looks great with the lighter shorts as well. One of the criticism that I've seen going around is that the water theme is a bit on the nose for Bournemouth. But like, and I think you'll see this here sort of repeated in the list, but I like it when away kits and third kits make a reference to their town. So that's a plus from me. That's a point in favor of Bournemouth. And I also remember seeing on Instagram when they announced this kit, and I'll try to find it and put it up on the screen. Someone had commented, I think it was shepherd's pie in it, and they're not wrong. That only makes me like it more for some. You know, the banter. So that is the first shirt in my top 5, Bournemouth away. Moving on to the next shirt, and that next shirt is one that I'd completely missed at the beginning of the season. It had avoided my radar, and that is Chelsea away. Speak of the Devils. Maybe if they won against Newcastle the day before this comes out, forget everything I said. But this kit looks surprisingly good. Like, I think if you explained the concept of this design to me without me actually seeing it, I would shoot it down. It's just a rare occasion where it looks worse on paper, if that makes sense. And I think they accomplished what the Liverpool away shirt did not do for me. And I might even go as far as saying that it's better than the Milan Crochet, the 4th kit this year. I think the graphic is just right. Like, the way it lands on the body is really well thought out. I like the shades of blue. I think that might just be Chelsea's regular brand blue, but it just really pops nicely on the dark navy. And they could have gone for those solid shorts matching the accents. It would have looked good, but also surprisingly the matching graphic shorts work really well. And I also really like how they styled the shirt in their promo pictures, just for like everyday wear as well. The light logos on the chest, I think, were the right call. I wouldn't necessarily have gone blue or black with this one. And yeah, just the more I look at it, the more I love it. I think the execution is just on point, and no notes from me. Every time I look at it, I like it more, and I think, yeah, this is the shirt. So I don't know how I missed it at the beginning of the year. Maybe it was announced late. I don't even know if I saw it with the sponsor on, but I am a fan of this shirt. Alright, moving on to the third shirt on the list, and that is Palace away. This is the only sash in the Premier League this year. And again, it's another great take on a light away kit. I think, they've got the color right. I think the simple line on the collar and on the sleeves, it complements the sash really well. And I remember seeing that the light blue was inspired by Palace's original 1861 kit. So that all makes sense. And on the sash itself, it's written Crystal Palace Football Club, founded 1861, printed repeatedly across the sash, horizontally. And I think that adds some nice clean texture to an otherwise like flat shirt. This year we're seeing a lot of all over sort of watermark design. It's the only way I know how to explain it. And I think that's really hard to get right. So the fact that Palace steers away from that, but still works in some textures is really nice. I do wonder, though, how it would look with the sponsor logo in black rather than purple. But I don't really take issue with the purple either. It's a nice touch that I think the Cinch logo just so happens to have the blue circle on it already. So that worked out well. And I do like the black patches on the chest and sleeves. So Crystal Palace did this one right. Simple and in a great way. Alright, so that's 3 out of 5. Let's move on to the one that will get me hate mail. And that is Arsenal away. There, I said it. It's on the internet now. I can't take it back. I do really like their third kit. I have to say it's genuinely one of the great shirts of this year. However, I like the away kit just as much. And it's upset so many people. So that's why I picked it. I don't understand why people are so upset about it. And you know, Bournemouth, I guess I like a good Marmite kit, because Bournemouth could probably have gotten the Marmite kit out of my list if it wasn't for Arsenal. So let's just think about it for a second, alright? Let's just hold on, let's talk this one out. So first of all, they say that it's inspired by the map of Islington, so check. We already know that we like local references around here. And I do genuinely think that it looks good on the pitch and on camera. Like, it's a really good playing shirt. And okay, I think I'm no fashion expert. I'm no design expert. But I think the colors are just a bit ahead of their time. Okay, I think in the next sort of 10 years, we're gonna see these neon accent colors. Like, we're seeing a lot of neon colors being used for accents right now. And I think that we'll see that turned into like main colors for a lot of sports uniforms. Like, I think in 2009, I had a shirt with this exact color scheme. And fashion is cyclical, so it'll come back around. But I also just don't see anything fundamentally wrong with this shirt, and I think it stands out from the pack really nicely. Say there's, you know, how many, 20, 30, 40, 60 shirts in a season. This one stands out. Like, you're gonna remember this one. And it's just not because it's ugly, just because it stands out. So, you know, this shirt is not the hill that I would die on, but I gotta take a couple flesh wounds for it. It's a nice shirt. Okay. I'm gonna move on. Okay, now before we get to the last jersey of the top 5, I want to go over a few honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention, I think it's fitting that it was a crow. I don't know if the mic picked it up. There was just a crow making noise outside. It's not a seagull, but with our eyes closed, we can pretend. Because the first honorable mention is Brighton's third jersey, third kit. The reason this is an honorable mention and not on the list is that I'm pretty sure this was their away shirt last year, so I can't necessarily call it a 23-24 shirt. But what I did like about it, this might be a bit strange, but it reminded me of a Ted Lasso jersey. So I think it was in the third season, certainly not in the first, but I think it was the third, where their away jersey was this like orange shirt with the sleeves being a slightly different tone than the torso. And that kind of reminded me of that jersey with the sort of gradient, the darker orange on the left going right. So yeah, just a shirt that I really like, that really stands out to me. And I like the monotone patch as well. The rather than having like the regular patches, the black seagull looks really good. The collar and the sleeves complement that as well, and I think it's just a shirt to be proud of. So I think it's traditionally what Brighton do is they move their away jersey to their third jersey a year later, but it's a shirt to be proud of, so I can see why they did that, if it wasn't just what they naturally do. Okay, the next honorable mention is the Burnley third kit. This was designed to celebrate the floodlights at Turf Moor, which I think is a really neat idea. Again, that local touch. The reason it's only an honorable mention is that I don't think it's actually been worn yet this season. I don't think they even wore it for a cup game. And we're like a third of the way through the season now, so I would have liked to see it worn. I might be wrong. They might have worn it. I'm not a Burnley expert. I don't watch all of their games. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have liked to see this one around a little bit more. And also, I wish the shirt sponsor matched with the bright yellow of the patches and the sleeves, rather than being like goldish, and then you have the repeated W88 in white underneath, and it kind of takes away from the shirt. But regardless, cool idea, and it gets an honorable mention. Okay, the next honorable mention goes to Luton Town and their third jersey. Now, this one has a similar vibe, I think, as Manchester City's third shirt, which has like the electrical theme. I think it was actually the shirt sponsor that's in pink, right? And also the Newcastle third shirt. So Newcastle has those neon yellow lines. This, they said, was based on an abstract aerial outline of Kenilworth Road. I don't really know Kenilworth Road all that well, so I don't know if that's like an easy link to make. Maybe it's just too abstract. But the idea is there, and I had to give Luton an honorable mention for this one because for a team that's just come into the Premier League, I mean, man, they were, 4 leagues down just 10 years ago? And they, no disrespect to Luton, we don't know how their season's going to end, and I hope they do well and stay up. But I think you got the sense generally that they're a club that's just visiting, right? And very often for clubs like that, even if they're not seen as a club that'll go right back down, usually they'll have pretty simple shirts coming into the Prem in the first year. And with this shirt, you don't get that sense. You feel like Umbro really put work into this one. And so I think it deserves a shout out. I haven't quite figured out the abstract design, and I think it just goes plain black in the back. But definitely some nice thought and some nice work went into this one. And finally, the last honorable mention is Everton their home jersey. Shout out to John, my favorite Evertonian. I'm not usually a fan of collars on shirts, of like the floppy collars, but I'm making an exception for this one, and that is because the pattern on the collar and on the sleeves, they refer to the same sort of design that are on the stands, that is on the stands at Goodison Park. And I think it's a really nice idea to pay tribute to the departing stadium. It's really the sentiment that sort of puts, or almost puts, this jersey on the list. The only reason that it doesn't officially crack the top 5 is that, as we now know, Everton will be back at Goodison for at least part of the next season. And that's not Everton's doing at all, but it does kind of jumble the sentiment a little bit. So maybe a petty reason. I'm sorry, John. But this one just makes it into the, well, not just makes it, just makes it out of the top 5, but comfortably in the honorable mentions. Okay, so now we can finish up my list of the top 5 Premier League jerseys of the season. And I just said that I don't like collars, didn't I? Well, we're wrapping up the list with Man City away. Okay, we can get into the storytelling that's associated with this shirt a little bit. They say that it celebrates the industrious beating heart of Manchester and the people who make it happen, the city's grafters and crafters. So on the white of the shirt, so almost the entire shirt, there's that sort of watermark graphic pattern that I was talking about earlier, but it's really faint here. And they say it's in the style of an archival weave pattern in colors that honor the city's creative heritage. And to me, it's subtle, it's not too detailed, it's quite faint, so it really works for me here. And then they have that coppery, shiny detail on the front, which I read is supposed to represent the flaming furnaces of the local brickworks. And the inside collar, sort of where the tag would be, also has a little factory skyline silhouette to drive the whole theme home. So it's all a nice subtle nod to one aspect of Manchester without being too on the nose, as people would say about the Bournemouth shirt. Like, even without any of that justification and that storytelling that City and Puma have come up with, it's still an excellent shirt. I think they're the only team that can justify having any shiny, metally, gold-like color on their jersey this year. With last season's treble, it's certainly an occasion that you want to mark with a special jersey. And City's branding is just always so on point. I love Manchester as a city, and I'm glad I was a Newcastle fan before I went to Manchester, because I would have been sold on this club a long time ago, and their head office is just a bunch of troublemakers. We don't need that. But yeah, that wraps up my top 5 Premier League shirts, jerseys, kits of this season. I'm a little bit late on this one, but again, I love soccer jerseys so much, so I wasn't making videos in August but I am now. So thank you for sitting through this ramble and listening to me talk about these jerseys, even though they are old news. I think my mic is falling apart. So I'm going to leave you here. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope your team is doing well this weekend, and I'll see you very soon for the next one.